2 babies in one day. At least that's how the internet read it. 1 mirror selfie. 1 casual caption. On my way to launch these babies. And suddenly, Sofia Richie didn't just break the feed, she bent it to her will. A growing belly, a brand new fashion line, and a wave of speculation that turned a soft announcement into a full cultural moment. Coincidence? Not even close. She didn't need a glossy cover or a cinematic reveal this time. No staged confetti, no orchestrated countdown, just a jacket from her own label, a perfect angle, and that bump. The simplicity said everything. It felt personal, intimate, like she was letting you in on a secret she'd been quietly protecting. And that's exactly why it exploded. Because while everyone else is shouting their milestones, Sofia whispered, and the whole internet leaned in. But that was only the beginning. Because the real spark wasn't just the bump. It was the double-meaning word that set keyboards on fire: babies. Fans flooded the comments, decoding it like a mystery thriller. Was it twins? Was it marketing? Was it both? And honestly, that's the brilliance. 1 line, 2 interpretations. Endless chatter. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when a life moment converges with a brand launch in real time, this was your masterclass. Here's where it gets strategic. Sofia didn't just post a pretty picture, she choreographed a moment. On the same day she took her new fashion label public, she anchored its identity with something authentic: motherhood. Not as a hashtag, not as an aesthetic, as a lived-in story. This wasn't buy what I'm selling. It was, this is what I'm living. The jackets, the tailoring, the silhouettes. Suddenly, they weren't just clothes. They were chapters. Practical enough for a morning with a toddler. Sleek enough for a meeting. Flexible enough for a dinner that turns into a night. A wardrobe designed for her actual life, not just her grid. And it's easy to see why that shift hits so hard. Ever since Eloise arrived, Sofia's voice, online and off, has changed. Warmer, more grounded. Less about the frame, more about the feeling inside it. She's posted about tiny moments like they're gold. A pink tee, a soft curl of a baby toe peeking out of a shoe, a sunny afternoon that means absolutely everything and nothing at the same time. Those snapshots aren't filler. They're the thesis. They say, the best part of my day doesn't need a red carpet. It needs 5 quiet minutes on the floor while my daughter giggles. And when you build a fashion brand from that center of gravity, you're not chasing trends. You're telling the truth. But let's not erase the style DNA that brought her here. Sofia's been in the eye of the fashion storm for years. The wedding that broke Pinterest. The clean lines. The unfussy hair. The palettes that whisper luxury without screaming price tags. She didn't abandon that aesthetic by becoming a mom. She sharpened it. The pieces look like the grown-up version of the mood board she's lived with forever. Pared back, confident, expensive without trying. It's not just quiet luxury. It's a quiet life with exquisite taste. And then, there's Elliot. Mr. Low-Key steps into the spotlight just long enough to throw a public love note into the mix. Not performative. Not loud, just proud. You could feel the partnership in it. 2 lanes, 1 direction. His message wasn't just husband energy, it was co-architect energy. The timing said it all. Her milestone is our milestone. Our brand is our family. And our family, well, that's everything. Still, that one word, babies, hung in the air. Comment sections turned into amateur detective agencies. Some swore she was hinting at twins. Others said, no, she's clearly talking about the baby and the brand. And here's the twist. The ambiguity is the point. It's playful, not coy. A little wink to the audience that's been watching her grow up in real time. The internet thrives on a riddle. She gave them just enough to debate without ever losing control of the narrative. That's not an accident. That's craft. Compare this reveal to the first one. Back then it was maximal. A moment so big it needed a magazine cover to hold it. Today's version? Minimal. A mirror. A jacket. A caption. But the impact? Arguably bigger. Because she's not proving anything anymore. She's just being... And when you're truly comfortable in your life, you don't need a press rollout. You need a camera roll. The strategy behind aligning a pregnancy reveal with a debut collection is smarter than it looks. It transforms attention into intention. Viewers don't just see a silhouette. They see a lifestyle context. Would I wear that to school drop-off? Could that jacket go from the sofa to a 7 p.m. dinner? suddenly you aren't browsing, you're imagining. And imagination is where desire starts. It's how a brand moves from the cart to the closet. There's also a deeper story about timing. Influencers chase the spike. Celebrities chase the headline. But Sofia's playing a longer game. Rhythm. She leans into the seasons of her life and lets the content follow. It's almost seasonless. Some days it's a campaign. Some days it's a baby foot. And on one very big day, it's both. That's not a viral formula. That's a life formula. And yet, the glamorous past isn't gone. It's just reframed. The ethereal wedding looks whose details we obsessed over. Now they read like the overture. The chapter that set tone. The entry point for a narrative about womanhood that evolves through motherhood and entrepreneurship. From the aisle to the nursery to the showroom. And somehow it all feels cohesive, because the protagonist stayed the same. Same taste, same eye, deeper roots. Motherhood hasn't flattened her brand. It's deepened it. Because being a mother on the internet is a tightrope. If you share too much, it's performative. If you share too little, it's secretive. She's found that sweet spot. Tender but protected. A glimpse, not a giveaway. And that balance is exactly what consumers are craving. Real enough to trust. Private enough to respect. The sentimental posts about Eloise, calling her the greatest achievement, weren't just sweet captions. They were mission statements. They told you how decisions would get made going forward. Family first. Everything else bends around it. And when your audience believes that, they'll follow you into any lane. Fashion, beauty, home, even media. Because the through line isn't the product, it's the person. Back to that caption. On my way to launch these babies. Notice the language. Not surprise, not announcement. On my way. It's movement, momentum. A sense that you're catching her mid-journey, not at a destination. It shifts the energy from tada to come with me. That's why the post didn't feel like a performance. It felt like a Monday. And people loved it for that. If you step out of the fan lens and into the brand lens, you'll see how elegantly the messaging stacks. The baby represents intimacy. The brand represents scale. Put them together and you get relatability at volume. The story is personal. The product is public. The overlap is power. It's the same emotional engine that drives the most resilient modern brands. Create from the life you're living, not the life you're selling. There's also a generous reading of the moment. Permission. Permission for women to change gears, visibly. To be radiant and tired. To be ambitious and maternal. To design for dinner and for daycare. The collection's vibe mirrors that permission. It's not demanding a costume. It's offering a uniform. Quietly authoritative. Easy to wear. Easy to rewear. Edited, like a sentence that doesn't waste words. But do not mistake quiet for soft. The execution here is ruthless, in the best way. Timing, tone, imagery, copy. No leaks, no messy buildup. Just a morning where everything lands at once. It's efficient. It's elegant. It's how you win the week without breaking a sweat. And in an era where everyone's sprinting, there's real power in the slow, steady stride. Elliot's note adds more than romance. It adds reputation. He's not a selfie husband. He's a builder. When a partner like that steps out to co-sign, it signals infrastructure, stability, a team behind the name. You can feel the alignment, even in a paragraph. An alignment sells more than aesthetics. It sells confidence. Will the twin rumors fade? Probably. Will the debate around that word disappear? Maybe not, because a great reveal doesn't end the conversation. It starts one. That's why you're still here. That's why the post still lives in your head. The caption didn't just tell you what's happening. It asked you to interpret it. And when an audience interprets, they invest. Look at how the visuals were calibrated. The mirror selfie puts you in the room with her. The jacket from her own line closes the loop between the person and the product. The bump is the heartbeat. It's a triangle of meaning that reads in half a second. A living mood board with one subject. A woman's life, expanding. If you've followed Sofia over the last few years, you've witnessed a rare kind of rebrand. One that isn't reactive. It's organic. She didn't pivot to chase relevance. Relevance met her in the lane she chose. The wedding, the style era, the first pregnancy, the first year of Eloise. Each moment upped the emotional stakes. Each moment invited you closer without opening the vault. That selective intimacy built an audience that feels protective, not entitled. And that kind of audience is priceless. The new fashion line folds into that intimacy by design. Not a cathedral of trend. A closet that works. Staples that listen before they speak. You can imagine them by a stroller, by a laptop, by a dinner candle. They don't beg for attention because they're built for attention spans that have better things to think about. A baby's nap, a text from a friend, a launch meeting at 9. Real life, styled. And that's the quiet revolution here. Sofia didn't just announce a baby and a brand. She modeled a way to hold both, gently and with taste. Plenty of celebrities have tried the life meets commerce hybrid. What makes this one land is the restraint. Less declaration. More demonstration. Less look at me. More this is me. So where does the story go next? That's the suspense. The baby will arrive when the baby arrives. The brand will learn its audience in real time. And in between, we'll get a few more glimpses. Another soft focus afternoon. Another offhand caption that reads like a diary entry. If the first reveal taught us anything, it's that you don't need spectacle when the life itself is compelling. For now, the meaning is simple. A woman with a growing family, dressing for the days that matter most, and inviting you, just barely, into the room. The caption was the wink. The photo was the proof. The brand is the echo. You can argue whether babies meant one thing or two, but the takeaway is clear. Sofia Richie found the sweetest spot in modern celebrity, where home and work don't compete. They collaborate, and maybe that's why the post felt bigger than a post. In a feed packed with noise, it was a note. Clear, calm, certain. The kind you remember because it's honest. She isn't chasing a headline. She's curating a life, and sometimes that life looks like a jacket you want to wear. Sometimes it looks like a tiny foot in a pink shoe. And sometimes, for one perfect day, it looks like both. So, was babies a savvy marketing nod or a clue tucked inside a caption? That's for you to decide. What's undeniable is the execution. Poised, precise, and deeply human. A new child on the way. A new chapter on the rack. One woman's world expanding in two beautiful directions, and inviting the rest of us to quietly cheer from the other side of the glass.